produced a song with longtime production partner Bob Summers, who you worked on tons of stuff we'll dig into here shortly. He produced a song, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, performed by Tammy Holbrook and Meredith Marshall, I believe. And the song was produced on a handful of different things, such as that movie called in '85, Girls Just Want to Have Fun with Sarah Jessica Parker. It was also used in Night of the Comet. And then also, sort of defined the 80s was the pilot episode of Miami Vice, I believe. The show had to kind of come out the gate and just sort of set the tone for what the rest of the series was going to be like. And I couldn't think of a more appropriate song to use than that, especially on the pilot episode of something that's cool in the 80s as Miami Vice. How was it working with Jan Hammer and that whole experience with that song? If you kind of just walk us through that a little bit.
Well, the funny thing is I never worked directly with him because he was in New York, but we went back and forth with it. But the funny thing about Girls Just Want to Have Fun is that I did that song as a sound-alike a couple of times, Miami Vice and Night of the Comet. It was huge. That was a statement of the 80s. As you mentioned, that song was a whole new direction. And then able to work on the film coming out of that. Tammy Holbrook was the singer that did the sound-alike on Miami Vice and Night of the Comet, and she also worked with us on the film. We took a whole new different approach in Girls Just Want to Have Fun because we just thought we didn't want to do the sound-alike again. It's close, but we had three girls do the lead on it, did a whole different feel on it. But it was always exciting. Again, who had any idea? That was the pilot from Miami Vice, and it was just, Don, can you do that song? Can you make it kind of sound like Cindy? Because it'd be prohibitive to get that song and pay for it. Because that show, as you know, just did a lot of contemporary songs, and they cost a lot of money. So there was a whole period of time where you were doing sound-alikes. The publisher would let you license the song, but the artists and the record companies, to give you an idea, on Night of the Comet, we wanted to do some songs by Sting. They wanted $50,000 a song, just one song. So that's why in Night of the Comet we had to do all original songs, which I love. But that was another one of those, like I said, you do a job, you don't know what's going to happen. Nobody could envision the show Miami Vice looked good, but who knew in those days? I did a low-budget show, the Grizzly Adams show. We didn't know it would take off, but it became one of the top shows on Thursday night on NBC. So I say it in the book sometimes, you do a job and you move on. I wish I had taken more time with Miami Vice and gotten involved with the production. I wasn't asked to, but that small part of it is a pretty proud part of my history with the music business when you talk about being involved in something that becomes not only a successful show, but defines an era.